From a championship aviation team to award-winning teaching to a record-setting basketball team, Boilermakers soared to new heights in 1996.
35 Lafayette Tower takes runway 10.
A pair of students exemplified the Purdue spirit by winning the 1996 Air Race Classic, a 2,400-mile all-female airplane race. Senior Lauren Nicholson from Kailua, Hawaii, and junior Jackie Battapaglia from New Windsor, New York, beat 50 other teams to become the first collegiate entry to win the event in its 77-year history.
Their skill in being able to forecast the weather, and their skill in being able to maintain an altitude and a heading, and their skill in being able to navigate around thunderstorms if that's necessary. But there is a little bit of luck involved.
Purdue students also took first place in the Rube Goldberg competition, where teams devised elaborate methods to put a coin in a bank. Purdue's winning machine had a Wild West theme. Dustin Smith, a management major from Frankfort, Indiana, kept up the family tradition by capturing the Purdue Grand Prix in April. Smith became the first freshman to win the race. His brother Ian won the 3 previous Purdue Grand Prix races. The Engineering Olympics gave students a chance to have fun while competing with each other in wacky events. Students in Purdue School of Aeronautics and Astronautics used their know-how to launch model rockets and get them to land where they wanted.
129 from here.
More than 35,000 students landed on Purdue's West Lafayette campus in fall 1996. System-wide enrollment topped 64,000.
We got spirit, how about you?
The West Lafayette numbers included more than 7,700 freshmen, one of the largest first-year classes in Purdue history. To help them adjust to their new surroundings, approximately 1,000 freshmen came to school a week early to take part in Boiler Gold Rush. Information and activities acclimated them to college and to each other. The December commencement ceremony featured comments from astronaut alum John Blaha as he orbited the Earth in the Mir spacecraft.
As one of almost 24 Purdue alumni who have flown in space, I wanted to offer today's graduating class and their families my congratulations.
While he spoke, his daughter Carolyn prepared to receive her diploma.
Your Purdue education is going to be one of the most valuable things you and your classmates will ever possess. I promise you, all the hard work you have done at Purdue and all the sacrifice will be worth it.
That it really brings a tear to my eye, and I think for him to speak at my graduation is just a wonderful thing.
Thank you.
This election year saw one of the presidential candidates visit campus. Reform Party nominee Ross Perot was one of several prominent speakers to come to Purdue in 1996. Other guests included Jeane Kirkpatrick, former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, and General John Shalikashvili, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The world's largest drum, the icon of the Purdue All-American Marching Band, celebrated its 75th year of entertaining fans, and for the first time, a woman was given the honor of beating the drum.
I get really excited to see everyone stare at the drum and look at the drum, and to know that I'm a part of the tradition of the Purdue Marching Band in Purdue. The fact that I get to be on the drum crew the year it celebrates its 75th birthday is really, really exciting for me.
The All-American Marching Band featured 2 new twirlers in 1996. Freshman Ann Lopnow, an occupational therapy major from Heartland, Wisconsin, was named Golden Girl. Karen Asadurian, a junior electrical engineering major from Westlake, Ohio, was chosen Girl in Black. A composition by the Repertory Dance Company was selected for a special performance at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. The Jahari Dance Troupe, along with the rest of the Black Cultural Center, received a shot in the arm in October when plans were unveiled for a new $3 million facility, which will be built at the corner of 3rd and Russell Streets. The university donated $1 million to start the project. The fundraising efforts will take place under the guidance of newly appointed BCC Director Renee Thomas.
Imagine a new Black Cultural Center that embodies the needs for African American students to learn about their culture and heritage, and the need for the entire Purdue University community to broaden its understanding of an increasing diverse and multicultural world.
It's not part of the public narrative of the family.
Margaret Rowe was named Dean of the School of Liberal Arts. Rowe, who was head of Purdue's Department of English, has been on the faculty since 1969. Alan Rebar became the new Dean of Veterinary Medicine. Rebar had been Associate Dean for Research in the vet school since 1989. Purdue's newest vice president is John Sauter. The director of Purdue Residence Halls, Sauter succeeded Ron Fruitt, who retired. Former Dean of Students Betty Nelson was honored with a campus marker near the intersection of Grant Street and Northwestern Avenue.
This is awesome.
Nelson, who was named Dean of Students Emerita, was replaced by former Associate Dean Tony Hawkins.
And we're just simply keeping track of that.
Chemistry professor Fred Lytle was named the 1996 Indiana Professor of the Year by the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching. The award recognizes Lytle's achievements in 28 years of teaching chemistry at Purdue and his work in developing a software program that translates chemical equations and symbols into Braille code.
And the drug retains its potency after this purification?
Another chemistry professor, Philip Lau, has discovered ways to use vitamins to sneak anti-cancer drugs past the security system of cancer cells.
We can attach virtually anything we wish to folic acid, and the cell will take in the folic acid, and along with it will swallow in the attached molecule, much like when one feeds a dog medicine in peanut butter.
That will decrease your heart rate.
In the School of Consumer and Family Sciences, the Department of Foods and Nutrition has a new major. The Nutrition, Fitness, and Health option is one of the few undergraduate programs of its type in the country. Horses get a leg up at Purdue's School of Veterinary Medicine on a new high-tech treadmill. Located in the Equine Sports Medicine Center, the treadmill can help prevent athletic injuries to horses.
This treadmill is unique because it's a computer-driven treadmill, which means that we can really pre-program exactly the type of exercise we want a horse to perform and deliver it in a standard fashion.
Well, there's that little buddy.
The School of Veterinary Medicine also came to the rescue of Fred the dog, the canine who was severely injured when it was accidentally dragged about a quarter mile behind a van, was brought to Purdue by owner Jim Rutledge, a truck driver from Evansville. Happily, Fred walked out a new dog and will be able to rejoin his master on cross-country journeys in the cab of a truck.
So to speak, it was thrust upon us.
Faculty in Purdue's School of Education are using today's newest technologies to make innovations in distance learning.
The program we're offering is interactive in nature, which means that we have two-way interactive audio and video. It's just as if you're sitting live in the room with the students.
If we become fearful making decisions and of standing up for what we know is right, that would become the greatest tragedy of the events of October 16th.
The lives of two students were tragically cut short on October 16th. Graduate student Jay Severson, a counselor at Wiley Hall, was shot to death by freshman Jared Eskew, who later took his own life. A memorial service was held the following week.
Okay, ready?
Groundbreaking ceremonies took place for the new Food Science Building. Purdue President Stephen Beering, Agriculture Dean Vic Lechtenberg, Food Science Department Head Phil Nelson, and Indiana Lieutenant Governor Frank O'Bannon put shovels to the ground to formally begin the construction period. O'Bannon was later elected governor of Indiana. Construction was completed on the Academy Park Mall on the West Lafayette campus. Planting of flowers and bushes is scheduled to be completed before the mall is dedicated in spring of 1997. The mall replaces a parking area between Stewart Center and Hevelin Hall. President Beering had a busy fall, making 11 visits around Indiana to increase public awareness of Purdue's role in the state's economy. The theme of the tour was Purdue Powers the Future.
Sweet potato.
Our fly-arounds are designed to show how the partnership between education and the community, between the schools and the university, between the university and business and industry can bring about economic prosperity.
That's a lot of savings for Cummins.
The Purdue Alumni Association also maintained an active travel schedule in 1996. Staff members helped the Purdue Association of Indianapolis stage a Purdue night at an Indianapolis Indians baseball game, which included President Beering making the kind of pitch he's not used to.
It uses a computer disk to...
In the fall, officers from several of Purdue's alumni clubs nationwide gathered on campus to share ideas.
I think I'm going to start for right now. Okay.
Alumni from around the country submitted recipes for PAA's 4th annual Tailgate Recipe Contest. Judges sampled the creations during a summer taste-off. Tailgate recipe winners were featured in the Purdue Alumnus magazine and were introduced at a Purdue football game. A new book about college football tailgating ranked Purdue in the top 20.
Purdue's got great fans. What's good about Purdue is you can get a reserved space, and you can come and meet the same people every game, and that's kind of neat. Yeah, there's plenty of room here to always meet the same people.
There you go.
The Alumni Association held a pregame luncheon in the Mollenkopf Athletic Center before the homecoming game. The event featured games for Boilermaker fans of all ages. Seniors picking up their final grades were greeted by PAA staff members during senior send-off at Hovde Hall. Phil Nelson, Alan York, and Tom Schmenk were honored as special Boilermakers for their contributions to the lives of Purdue students. The trio received notification of their award in the form of a Halloween surprise.
But after some grave deliberations, and I'm not clowning around, Dr. Phil Nelson, you were selected to receive the Purdue Alumni Association's 1996 Special Boilermaker Award.
Oh, my goodness.
Prior to
Executive Director Larry Prio showed that slow and steady at least finishes the race as he took part in the annual 8K run sponsored by the Division of Recreational Sports.
I finally did it, made it somehow. 10 years, I've done this every year for 10 years now. Fortunately, I was here when we did our very first.
The pace was a bit slower but full of pride at the annual class parade during Gala weekend. The parade ends at the gravesite of Purdue founder John Purdue.
Alma mater floreat, quae nos educavit.
Gala weekend was capped by the Founders Day banquet, featuring a performance by the Purdue Glee Club.
Dicitas in regiones.
And comments from President Beering.
In flore, semper sit in flore.
But Purdue really isn't about anybody's past. It's about everybody's future. We feel that our primary mission is to make our university the very best it can be. And that means it must change and get better all the time. As the financial support of the state has proportionately diminished, we have been forced to find other ways to ensure the future quality of our programs. And your private gifts are enabling us to make that difference.
The Purdue Alumni Association each year presents citizenship awards at the banquet in recognition of outstanding service to community. 1996 winners were William and Jean Beard of Frankfort, Indiana, Philip Borst of Indianapolis, George Mitchell of Marshall, Illinois, and Wayne Willich of Mercer Island, Washington. Ground was broken during homecoming weekend for the new $6.5 million golf complex. Major benefactors joined university dignitaries at the chilly ceremony. Renowned golf course designer Pete Dye, who learned about turf grass in classes at Purdue, will donate his services to redesign Purdue's North Golf Course into a championship layout.
Gonna sell it. That's 34 now, 35.
The athletic department developed a new series of logos for use in marketing and merchandising. The new marks were unveiled to the public during an auction which raised about $3,600 for the Black Cultural Center. 3 Purdue cheerleaders, Mandy Tincher, Krista Waldbieser, and Randy Glanton, were named All-Americans and were selected to cheer in the Hula Bowl in Honolulu.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 1990
1996 inductees into the Purdue Athletic Hall of Fame. Here's Len Dawson. The voice, John DeCamp.
The Purdue Athletic Hall of Fame inducted 8 new members into its 3rd class. The honorees were recognized at halftime of the Old Oaken Bucket game.
Ekstrom earned 7 passages.
A likely future Hall of Famer is track star Carissa Yason. She became the first female NCAA champion in Purdue history by capturing the heptathlon championship in Oregon. Yason, who won several Big Ten championships in the high jump, decided to continue her Purdue athletic career by using her 5th year of eligibility to play basketball. She also managed to finish in the top 10 in the U.S. heptathlon trials for the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta. Also training for the Olympics was former Purdue heptathlete Jamie McNair, who finished 5th in the trials. While Yason and McNair fell just short of the Olympics, a part of the games came to West Lafayette. The Olympic torch came through the Lafayette community and was the focal point for a ceremony at Slater Center. Among those carrying the torch was new women's basketball coach Nell Fortner. An assistant coach of the U.S. national team, Fortner succeeded Lynn Dunn as Boilermaker coach.
I am so proud to be here and to be a part of the Purdue family. And being a part of the Purdue family is a feeling I got quickly in my visits with Joni and Morgan. I like a strong man-to-man defense, and I like to run when the opportunity presents itself. And I think you'll see a very exciting game, fun game to watch.
A changing of the guard also took place in football. Jim Coletto resigned after 6 seasons as Purdue coach and was replaced by Joe Tiller, a former Boilermaker defensive coordinator and successful head coach at the University of Wyoming.
It's great to be back at Purdue, and I think the Purdue program is already competitive. So we'll pass the baton and pick it up and move on from there. We're here to win a championship.
Purdue pulled its biggest upset of the decade the week Coletto announced his resignation, knocking off 9th-ranked Michigan 9-3 and setting off a delirious celebration at Ross-Ade Stadium. And we found out that Big Ten football in 1996 was as hard-hitting as ever. The Purdue men's basketball team scaled new heights in 1996, winning its 3rd consecutive Big Ten basketball title. The three-peat was led by a cast of 6 seniors and was orchestrated by Gene Cady, who overcame personal tragedy to once again be named National Coach of the Year. Early in the season, Cady's daughter was seriously injured in a fall at her home in New Jersey. Days later, Gene's father passed away in California. But with the senior leadership and the support of his staff, Cady guided the Boilermakers into a #1 seed in the West Regional of the NCAA tournament, where the Boilermakers bowed out in the 2nd round. The lasting image of the 1996 season, though, will be the memorable celebration held the night the Boilermakers wrapped up their three-peat in Mackey Arena. From Gene Cady and the basketball team to astronaut John Blaha speaking at commencement to a pair of female flying aces, Purdue once again soared to new heights in 1996.
I hope you've enjoyed watching the 1996 Purdue Newsreel. The Purdue Alumni Association shares your pride in the accomplishment of our students, faculty, staff, and alumni. The Alumni Association wants to take this opportunity to thank our members for all your support during 1996. I also want to take this opportunity to ask those of you who are not members to join the Alumni Association and show your support for your alma mater. Again, hope you've enjoyed watching the 1996 Purdue Newsreel, and we wish you nothing but the best in 1997. Hail Purdue!